The Ghost in the Cap'n Brown House by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Now, Sam, tell us certain true. Is there any such thing as ghosts? Be there ghosts, said Sam, immediately translating into his vernacular grammar. Well, now there's just the question, you see. Well, Grandma thinks there are, and Aunt Lois thinks that's nonsense. Why, Aunt Lois don't even believe in the stories in Cotton Mather's Magnalia. Want to know? Said Sam, with a tone of slow, languid meditation. We were sitting on the bank of the Charles River, fishing. The soft melancholy red of everything was fading off in streaks on the glassy water, and the houses of Old Town were beginning to loom through the gloom, solemn and ghostly. There are times and tones and moods of nature that make all the vulgar, daily real seem shadowy, vague, supernatural, as if the outlines of this hard material present were fading into the invisible and unknown. Its old town with its elm trees, its great square with white houses, its meeting house and tavern and blacksmith shop and millie ware, which at high noon seem as real as commonplace as possible, at this hour of the evening were dreamy and solemn. They rose up blurred, indistinct, dark, here and there. Winking candles sent long lines of light through the shadows, and little drops of unforeseen rain rippled the sheeny darkness of the water. Well, you see, boys, in them things it's just as well to mind your granny. There's a considerable sight of gumption in grandmas. You look at the folks that's is telling you that you don't believe. They won't believe this, and they don't believe that. And what sort of folks is they? Why, I like your Aunt Lois, sort of stringy and dry. There ain't no sortion going out and believing nothing. Lord a massy, don't know nothing about them things. We hain't been there. We can't say that there ain't no ghosts and such, can we now? We agreed to that fact, and sat a little closer to Sam in the gathering gloom. Tell us about Captain Brown's house, Sam. You never go over to Captain Brown's house. No, we had not that advantage. We ceased Captain Brown. He made all his money to sea in foreign parts, and then come here to Old Town to settle down. Now there ain't no knowing, but these are old shipmasters, where they been, and what they've been doing, or how they got their money. Ask me no questions, and I'll tell you no lies about the best philosophy for them. Well, it didn't do no good to ask Captain Brown questions too close, because you didn't get no satisfaction. Nobody rightly knew about his folks was they come from, or if anybody asked him, he used to say that the very first he'd know about himself, he was a young man walking the streets in London. You see, boys, he had money, and that is about all folks want to know when a man comes to settle down. And he bought our place and built that house. He built it in a sea captain fashion, so to feel as such as at home as he could. The parlor was like a ship's cabin. The table and chairs were fastened down on the floor, and the closets were made of holes and set the castors and the decanters and bottles in, just they be at sea. But there was stanchions to hold on by, and there were blowy nights that the captain used to fire up pretty well with his grog, till he had about all he could carry, and then he'd set up, hold on, and hear the wind blow, kind of feel out to sea, right there to hum. There wasn't no Miss Captain Brown, and there didn't seem likely to be none, and whether there ever had been one, nobody knowed. But he, an old black person named Quisa, did his work. She was shaped pretty much like one of his great cooknet squashes. She wasn't no great beauty, but I can tell you she used to wear a great red turban and yaller shorter down red petticoat, and a great string of gold beads round her neck, great big old hoops in her ears, made right in the middle of there, Africa among the heathen there, and all she was black. She thought a heap of herself, and was considerable sort of predominative over the captain. Lord Massey, boys, it's alias so. Get a man and a woman together, any sort of woman, mind you, don't care who it is, and one way or another she gets the rule over him, and she just has to train to her fife. Some does it one way, some does it another. Some does it by jawing, some does it by kissing. Some does it by faculty and contrivance. But one way or another, they allers does it. Old Captain Brown was a good stout, stocky, kind, old John Bull sort of fellow. A good judge of spirits. Allers kept the best in there, cupboards of his, but first and last things in his house went pretty much as old Quasia said. Folks got to the kind of respect in Quasia. She come to meetin' Sunday regular, and saw it all fixed up in red and yaller and green, with glass beads and whatnot, looking for all the world like one of them ugly Indian idols. But she was well behaved as any Christian. She was a master hand at cooking. Her bread and biscuits couldn't be beat, and no couldn't her pies, and there wasn't no such pound cake as she made nowhere. Well, this here story I'm going to tell you was told me by Cynthia Pendleton. There ain't a more respectable gal, old or young, than Cindy nowheres. She lives over in Sherburne now, and I hear tell she's set up a manty-making business, and then she used to do tailoring in Oldstown. She was a member of the church, and good Christian as she was. Well, you see, Quasia, she got Cynthia to come up and spend a week at Captain Brown's house. I doing tailoring and fixing over his clothes. 'Twas along toward the 1st of March. Cynthia, she sat by the fire in the front parlor with her goose and her press board and her work, for there wasn't no company calling, and the snow was drifted 4 feet right across the front door, so there wasn't much danger of anybody coming in. And the captain, he was a polite man to women, and Cynthia, she liked it just as well not to have company, because the captain, he'd made himself entertaining telling on her sea stories and all about his adventures among the Ammonites and Perseites and Jebusites and all sorts of heathen people he'd been among. Well, that our week there come on the master's snowstorm, of the snowstorm that he'd been, and that was the beater. And I tell you, I can't read the story. The wind blew as if 'twas the chance it was ever going to have. Well, it's kind of scary, like to be shut up in a lone house with all that nature kind of breaking out and going on so, and the snow coming. I can't read the story. Look, anytime a story has that much, it's like 19th century slang. I can't read stories with that much 19th century slang. I just can't. I'm sure it's a fine story. I just can't read stories with that much 19th century slang, because eventually I'm going to start talking like that. And it's one thing to talk with like 21st century slang, and I just can't talk with 19th century slang, because nobody talks with 19th century slang anymore, so it doesn't help me. Sorry, I don't have the attention span to read this story. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with my channel moving forward. I might do more music analysis, but sometimes I get tired of reading these short stories, and it's a fine story. I just can't read it. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of The Ghost in the Captain Brown's House. I can't finish it because I just can't internalize 19th century slang. It's just not gonna. It's not something I want to pick up. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the story, or the 7 minutes of it I read anyways. Please subscribe to this channel to be part of the community. Please like this video, it really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.